If you were scared of Edgar Markov before, then prepare to be absolutely terrified. Alright, with Innistrad Remastered, that means that Edgar Markov is getting reprinted for the very first time. I am so excited about this because it means so many more Magic players are able to get Edgar Markov into their collection. The terrifying thing, though, is meaning more people are getting Edgar Markov in their collection. So this means when we sit down to play games at our local game store or in your friendly neighborhood pod, you are going to be seeing Edgar Markov decks all over the place. You might even sit down to play a pod with your very own Edgar Markov and find out that there are 3 other Edgar Markovs, making a very vampire-heavy game to play. So that means we have to make sure that we have all of the secrets up our sleeves to take care of Edgar Markov because he is terrifying. So here's a couple suggestions. Let me know what you think. I'm not going to waste your time by talking about really powerful cards that obviously make sense to take care of Edgar Markov and very scary decks. Things like Teferi's Protection is always going to give the best type of protection. Damnation to destroy all creatures. Yeah, yours are going, but all those scary vampires are as well. So obviously staples like these are going to be obvious adds into your decks. Here are a couple cards that I think you might not know about. Kasmina's Transmutation is one of my favorite. It is an enchantment where it loses all abilities and has base power and toughness 1/1. So Edgar Markov is not getting his crazy vampire typal stuff with this, and as long as Edgar Markov is on the battlefield, then you don't have to worry about it. Obviously has Imminence, so that's kind of scary, but if you don't want Kasmina's Transmutation, or if you just want more cards like that, here's another one from Modern Horizons 3, Amphibian Downpour. It has Flash, so if things are getting too out of hand, then just go ahead and flash this bad boy in, take care of some stuff, and if Kasmina's Transmutation is already on Edgar Markov, maybe put this on Bloodline Keeper or some other very scary vampire that they are running. But again, it loses all abilities. That's the prime thing that we're looking for, and is a blue frog and no longer a vampire, and has base power and toughness 1/1. Very nice, we love to see it. Another card is Eaten by Piranhas. Again, Flash. We love the Flash of losing all abilities, and it's a skeleton this time. So again, we're knocking back their vampires. If they're getting +1/+1 for each vampire they control, or anything that's bumping up them all, if we're knocking down the vampires, then that bump is also going to get knocked down. So we are slowly but steadily getting rid of the vampires while also making them lose all abilities. Witness Protection makes them a very legitimate business person. So I love this one from now reprinted in Foundations, but Streets of New Capenna. This was so much fun. Again, legitimate business person. So not a vampire with base power and toughness 1/1 and losing all abilities. But if you want something to be a little bit more clearing the board kind of a thing, just don't worry about all of their stuff, Polymorphous Jest is gonna do the trick. It's an instant, so not an enchantment. Those ones are really nice because they stay on the battlefield with those creatures. Long-term removal. This one is more clearing the whole board kind of a thing. It's the same vibe. All creatures lose all abilities and become a 1/1. Until end of turn, each creature target player controls loses all abilities and becomes a blue frog with base power and toughness 1/1. So this is going to take care of all of those vampires. If they're just bumping everything up and you don't have, if you're not playing white, if you can't do Teferi's Protection, if you're not playing black, you can't do Damnation, Polymorphous Jest is a little fun party trick that will help you take care of them swinging all out of you, being all kinds of crazy. We're not going to let those combos pop off either. If you're not playing blue, I highly recommend Kinrith's Transformation. This gives a lot of the same vibes. It's an enchantment when an ETBs draw a card, so we love the little ability there for green to bump up our own stuff as well. But again, a creature will, being enchanted by this, lose all abilities and is a green elk creature, being a 3/3. So it's a little bit bumped up, but still not as scary as all those vampires going on in an Edgar Markov deck. Again, if you're not in blue, maybe trying some white. We're used to protection in white, but we want to make sure that we are taking care of their board. So this is along the same lines. It's an enchantment, an aura, so you're attaching it, long-term ability, losing all abilities, and has base power toughness 0/1. So a little helpful there. Another enchantment would be Darksteel Mutation. I think this one is really interesting. Shout out to King Honey with the suggestion because it does have Indestructible. The thing that makes Edgar Markov so terrifying is that it has imminence. He has imminence, meaning the ability triggers whether he's on the battlefield or in the command zone. So if you're just chaos warping that thing, getting rid of it, it doesn't matter. They'll keep it in the command zone anyways. So that's why I like the idea of these enchantments and these auras. It's a long-term removal, forcing it to stay on the battlefield. But what's stopping them from chump blocking? Well, Darksteel Mutation has it as indestructible, losing all abilities, becoming a 0/1. So that means that they can try to chump block, but it's indestructible, so it's still going to stay on the battlefield. So hopefully, Darksteel Mutation is your prime candidate against Edgar Markov. I really enjoyed this card for a little bit more chaos. Overwhelming Splendor is an aura curse where you're enchanting player. Creatures enchanted player controls loses all abilities and has base toughness and power of 1/1. So again, we get it. But what's that 6 and 2 white? Why does that matter? Well, this bottom part, enchanted player can't activate abilities that aren't mana abilities or loyalty abilities. So with all these vampire type of things popping off and building off of one another, hopefully this is making it so that those triggers aren't happening and you don't have to worry about it so much. Perplexing Test. Choose one, return all creature tokens to their owner's hands or all non-creature tokens. I really like this because one way or the other, we know Edgar Markov decks, there are really powerful vampires, Vein Ripper, like I said, Bloodline Keeper, all kinds of really strong stuff that they are going to work really well together, but they're also getting abilities of when this dies, make a 1/1, when this dies, make a 2/2 with Decayed, all these crazy things. So they're not only going to have really strong powerful vampires that they're casting, but you want to be sure to get rid of their tokens as well. So either way, whichever way that one specific Edgar Markov deck is popping off, hopefully Perplexing Text will help you get rid of those so that it's a little bit more manageable. Hunted by Family. I think that this is really fun, a little bit more of a chaos type of card, so this is up my alley. It's a sorcery. Choose up to 4 target creatures you don't control. For each one of them, the creature's controller faces a villainous choice, as Edgar Markov already does, so who the heck cares? But it's a creature will become a 1/1 white human creature and lose all abilities, or you create a token copy of that creature. So I'm gonna choose 4 of your creatures, your Edgar Markov, your Vein Ripper, Dracuseth, what the heck ever you got going on over there, I don't even know, but it's terrifying. I want my own Ancient Copper Dragon, thank you. So either you sacrifice it as a 1/1, or I get my own copy. So if they're really that concerned about their own stuff, then this just like a little bit more fun and spice to your game. So I'm always up for this kind of chaos. Hopefully you like it as well. As an enchantment, something that's also going to help is going to be Tainted Remedy. If an opponent would gain life, that player loses that much life instead. The reason I'm putting this in here is because on top of the imminence and all the very scary typal and kindred stuff going on in Edgar Markov decks, they probably got a few infinite combos in there as well, right? It's a powerful deck, and we know that it's going to get even scarier now with these reprints. So when we're talking about combos, the very first one that is super easy to add is going to be your Exquisite Blood, Sanguine Bond combo, right? Life gain, life drain. We are popping off with that infinite combo. So if we're making it so they can't gain life, then that's just hopefully going to help us in the long term by giving us some time to figure out what the heck to do with Edgar Markov. Something else that's going to be similar to this is Sunspine Links. Players can't gain life. Now, you're in an Edgar Markov game, hopefully you got some powerful stuff to bump up your own thing to give you a little bit of protection, because this means you can't gain life as well. But players can't gain life, damage can't be prevented. So if you were flinging something across the board, they can't deal with it in any way. So Sunspine Links is going to be a powerhouse against those Edgar Markov decks. I also like Everlasting Torment if you wanted to go even more Rakdos Chaos. Can't gain life, damage can't be prevented, and this is the spicy part. All damage is dealt as though it had Wither. So it's sources of -1/-1 counters, which is absolutely crazy, and I love this mechanic, so hopefully it works out well if you choose to run this, but it's only going to speed up your game by knocking back those creatures, and even though Edgar Markov himself has imminence, if you're getting rid of those other scary creatures and they're in the graveyard, fingers crossed they don't have recursion and they aren't going to get them back to bite you in the butt. Grievous Wound, Enchant Player, again another fun type of curse feel. Enchanted player can't gain life, so we still want the other people at our table to help us defeat the Edgar Markov deck. So if you're trying to do some more politicking, this one's good because you're making sure specific player Edgar Markov player can't gain life. Whenever enchanted player is dealt damage, they lose half their life rounded up. I love this so much because they're just popping off. So you're the arch enemy for a reason, my friend. So that takes us to all of the cards that I'm thinking I'm going to be throwing in all my decks to make sure that Edgar Markov does not stand a chance. Hopefully I'll be able to cast at least one spell. We'll see. Hopefully it goes well. I hope these cards help you a lot. Darksteel Mutation with that Indestructible is pretty crazy, but let me know what I missed. There are so many magic cards out there, so I want to know what you are running to defeat Edgar Markov. Please let me know so that I stand a chance at FNM. I really appreciate it, and as always, happy gaming!